Hi! Today we're going to do a quick oil change on the KTM 690 Enduro, guys. I'm going to show you how to do it the easy way. Well, there's no easy way. It's not like a T7, this bike. You've got multiple oil filters, multiple screens. It is a pain in the ass, you know, compared to other bikes. But this is how we do it in the boonies. This is literally all you're going to need. Two new oil filters, the short and the long. And of course your Motor X fully synthetic cross power 10W60. Now it's pretty common knowledge that you warm up the engine before you drop the oil out. Obviously when the oil's hot it runs out a lot easier, a lot quicker. But I like to go one step further than that. I like to actually take the bike out for a ride, get the clutch and the gearbox working. That gives it the most chance of stirring up all the sediment from the bottom of the case. And obviously I've removed the bash plate as well so that I can, when I get back from my ride, I can quickly undo the bung, drop the oil straight out. That gives you the most chance of getting the most crap out of the engine. All right, we're going to go for a ride now, come back and dump the oil. Righto, I didn't have time to mic up and fart around with the camera, guys, so just quickly, when I got home, as you saw, 13mm socket to undo the drain bolt here, pretty easy. And then of course there's a screen, 13mm as well, to get this screen out. Now this oil of course will be hot. You can put gloves on if you're a sissy, but yeah, use your own judgment there. Just keep your hands away from that hot oil and the hot engine. Alright, once those two are out, we'll take our 13mm and undo the other screen here at the front of the engine. Oh, freaking tight. Make sure your drain pan's underneath all of these. You have of course two oil filters, as I mentioned. Both of them look like this. We've got a couple of 8mm bolts to remove to get these out. You know, you can stuff around with magnets and pliers and stuff to try and get these filters out, but I reckon you just go straight for a thin bit of wire with a small hook on the end, jam it in there and hook it out. Okay, and we've got the other one on the other side. It's pretty much the same deal. Now KTM have designed this system so that you're going to pretty much be guaranteed to get oil and shit all over your engine, and probably all over your floor too, unless you've got a massive drain pan or unless you do one side of the bike at a time. But as I said, I like to take all these out at once. Basically once, you know, I get all the filters out and all the plugs out and the screens and all the shit, what I'll do is lean the bike from side to side, try to slide the drain pan back and forth so that we can, you know, get all that oil out. Just be careful, as I said, this stuff is hot. Okay, so everything's now out. We'll try and lean the bike over. Just be prepared for oil to go on your floor if you do this. You know, I think it's probably a good idea to get as much of that old oil out as you can. The less of it's in there than to contaminate the fresh oil that we're going to put in. Okay, so I think we've basically got as much as we can out of there. Alright, so a lot of people will tell you, even KTM themselves will tell you to replace the gaskets on these covers. You really don't need to, unless they are damaged. I mean, inspect them for sure. If there's any cracks or anything like that in there, I would definitely replace it, but otherwise, no need. Yeah, the magnetic plug's got a bit of crap on it. No really big chunks. Also the brass or copper or whatever it is, crush washer, they say to replace that each time. I've reused these over and over and over on my KTM 500 and never had a leak. So again, as long as it's not damaged obviously in any way, you can reuse them. Okay, so have a look at the screens here. Those O-rings there too, I mean, they look okay to me. Obviously, you know, make sure your screens are still in good nick. There's a bit of shit in there still by the look of it. Anyways, I'm going to give those a good clean up before they go back in, and then of course put some oil on these O-rings. Now I do believe that these plugs here and the screens themselves are both identical, so it doesn't matter if you mix them up. Now I don't think it really matters what order you do this stuff in, guys, but I'm going to start with the right hand side of the bike. I'm going to whack the shorter filter in this side. I've lubed up the seals with a little bit of fresh oil. So we just need to pop that guy in, doesn't matter which way it goes. And we can whack that guy back on and whack the bolts in. Just be aware, if you don't have like a small torque wrench, these only need like 10 Newton meters of torque, so they're not, you know, you don't do them up tight at all. If you do over tighten them, it's very easy to strip out these aluminium blocks, so yeah, don't over tighten. If you don't have a torque wrench or you don't like using them like I don't, just give them about that, literally just a tweak. I think these want 15 Newton meters. Oh yeah, consult your manual. I don't know, I just do them about that, and about that. Okay, so the other filter, just give that a bit of a clean out there. This is the longer filter, of course, and the rubber end goes in the hole. Make sure it's seated. Cap on. I've never heard of anybody putting thread lock on these either. I don't think it would be a good idea. Alright, the other screen's going in. Now finally the actual drain bung. Don't forget your little crush washer, whether you're using a new one or recycling the old one. Make sure you've got one on there. Alright, I'll generally just go around now and just make sure I have remembered to nip everything up. Alright, now we need to remove our oil filled bung. It's good that all these are 13. You'll probably have a plastic one here that you can undo by hand. I've got this fancy aftermarket one on. It makes the bike go a lot faster. Trust me when I tell you that. I'm going to try and clean around the filler neck hole thing without getting any crap into the motor. Now obviously only a dead set fucking fool would start an argument or a discussion about what the best oil is for this bike, or the best oil in general is, but having said that, this is the best oil money can buy. KTM knows it, that's why it's the official oil for KTM's Motor X. And yeah, as I said, this is the Cross Power 10W60. It's pretty bloody good. Yeah, this bike I believe takes 1.7 litres. I never just tip straight in from the bottle. I like to measure it. I've got this dedicated bottle here, holds 1 litre. I've got it marked at 500 ml, so I'll fill that up first, tip it in, then go, well, the 700 marks right there. So yeah, it gives you a better sort of starting point than just guessing and tipping half the bottle in or whatever. This Motor X Cross Power is fully synthetic too. You pay for it, but you know it's good. I generally tend to use one of these style little funnely things. They work quite well. So we'll tip in that litre first. Yeah, that's a better angle. Now you can see that good stuff going in. As I said, we'll fill this up to the 700 mark and check it on the sight glass. And then of course we'll have to start it up, run it for a bit, you know, because all the filters will be dry. It'll take a little bit to fill those up and they'll use up a bit of the oil. So yeah, we'll just run it, then check the sight glass and then add more as necessary. Alright, so yeah, it's showing around about middle of the sight glass, so should be able to fire it up and check it again. So if I remember correctly, you should at least put this filler cap on, even if you don't torque it right up. I think oil will probably shoot out of there if you don't. Now do remember, of course, that you'll need to let the engine sit for like 5 minutes or so before you can get an accurate reading on the sight glass. Now this one's been sitting for a little while and we're not seeing anything on the sight glass now, so I'm going to need to put probably another 100 or 200 mil in, so we'll go ahead and do that. You want to, of course, you know, check your filter covers and everything and your bungs just to make sure that they are in and not leaking. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned, pretty obvious I guess to most people, but yeah, you need to have the bike upright, not on the side stand or anything when you're checking the oil level. So yeah, I'm just going to run it once more for a couple of minutes, guys, then check it, make sure it's all good, and then whack the bash plate back on. I'll make sure there's no leaks, of course, make sure nothing's leaking, then whack the bash plate back on, call it done. Thanks for watching, see you next time.